This is the indicator section that I want to introduce to everyone how to use it and to help you understand how to use it properly. Okay, in this section, I will present to you all that every system of ALGTP HASU has a similarity. And before we make an entry, we need to understand that these tools are important. So all the indicators here are tools that we apply to the chart in order to confirm the entry point and confirm the take profit point, and that's when we will use these indicators. But besides these indicators, we also need to use squeeze analysis and RSI, okay? For squeeze analysis, I usually apply AO, okay, and RSI, but I design it in more detail in my own way so that it's completely different from all the indicators that people commonly use, like the RSI that everyone uses, or AO, or MACD. Mine is very different because even though it's the same concept that everyone uses, mine is more detailed. For example, in cases where you want to make an entry, you might not know exactly where the entry point is, right? So I'll explain it to everyone. For example, if you use MACD, AO, or so on, which momentum indicators do you typically use to predict the buy and sell trends, right? But for me, I make an exception. I actually don't use those indicators at all. Instead, I only use EO to carefully look at the buy and sell momentum so I can optimize my profits and make my entry points much more accurate. And after that, I'll apply the RSI. The usual RSI is different from MyName version, is much more detailed in the RSI section. So when you want to make an entry, first I use like 2 minutes to confirm the entry point. Okay. Then after that, I'll confirm the entry point. When I see that it starts from this 0 point, it creates a support here and signals start to appear. So when this signal shows up, I know, this is the support. But I need to make sure if the signal appears a second time. If not, then it will start to confirm for me. So when I see the price, the RSI starts to approve and shows a buy signal, it changes color from red to green, then I know that at this point there's a buy opportunity. The RSI will move ahead of the EO, so I apply these techniques to get ahead of the EO, you see? So I already know the part there in the EO section, there is a buy. The buy signal is here. It matches here, but it hasn't triggered the signal yet, because I don't know if this could still drop further or not. So in this part, it starts to narrow down, and here it gradually increases. So when there is a strong buy signal in this 2-minute segment, there is a buy here and a buy signal, you see? And when I combine, right, when I combine the buy signal here, does it match or not? So when I use this spot, the indicator won't get repainted, and it gives me a very clear signal, and 2 can confirm the entry point clearly. Okay, then after that, I'll determine entry, and then I'll confirm it again. So in this segment, right, we've already got the signal indicating that it's about to be a buy, right? So here, this line is the line is the entry zone. So this is our entry point. After that, when the price reacts right here, meaning it's still moving sideways, it's not clear yet. So we have to wait until the price breaks through the change of character zone, then that's when it starts to show signs of going up. So this is the measurement for the 2-minute time frame. In the 2-minute measurement section, it has already calculated for us within the structure the highest price. The price it reaches here will create momentum, okay? It will generate momentum right at this breakout shift, and then at TP3. If it manages to break through, then these are the take profit points, okay? These are the take profit points. So up here, there's an order block. It's likely that when the price reaches this level, it will be blocked by this order block within the 2-minute time frame, and then it will start to drop back down, okay? Then it will continue to retest to see if it can break through in order to establish an upward trend. So this is the 2-minute chart, okay? It's the entire chart for today. That means today, the upper open point started from here, and the price has been moving sideways all day, okay? It's been moving sideways, just moving sideways. All right, so basically the price hasn't fluctuated much today, right? So after moving sideways, now let's check something. This is the 2-minute chart. So now I'll check the 5-minute chart. Yes. So as we can see, we're currently inside the order block. If this order block breaks out, then the price will continue to rise. But if it gets rejected on the 5-minute chart, then it will keep dropping. Now, on the 2-minute chart, you can see here, there's an uptrend, a buying trend. And here it has already separated and distinguished everything for us. The price on the 2-minute chart only reached up to here, right? Looking at this 2-minute chart, the price only got to this point. So when we check the 5-minute chart, see, doesn't the indicator make sense? We've already got the order block right here. So in the 2-minute trend, it's an uptrend, but the price could still reach 21,311, which means we're still within the order block, or it could be at 21,260, which matches exactly with the indicator area shown on the 2-minute chart. All right, let's take a look. Okay, let's go back to the 2-minute chart. See that? Is it matching? There. After I do it and switch back to the 2-minute chart. See, does it match with the signal now? This is the uptrend on the 2-minute chart, so this order block up here needs to be broken. Okay, now, I'll switch back to the 5-minute chart. All right, as you can see on the 2-minute chart, it's an uptrend. If the price reaches this point but doesn't go above this red zone, doesn't go above 21,363 to establish an uptrend, then there's a very high chance that the trend will drop. So it's possible that on Friday, the trend will drop back down to the opening price of Thursday. That's because I already have an order block down here. And in the risk management section, there's a TP3, which is right here. So there's a very high chance that the price trend will move like this. Okay, then it comes back here, right? So do you all see the indicator? It has already separated everything out for us in great detail. Okay, so after that, I'll check the 5-minute chart there. I will check in 5 minutes. Okay, on the 5-minute chart, here's the trend. So if the price action moves above, then it's possible that the highest price area will be here, since we have an order block here. So I don't know how the trend will play out this Friday or Monday, but for now, I can see that in the short wave, in the short-term phase, maybe when the MNQ market opens in a bit, the 2-minute trend will likely move up to here. But if the 2-minute chart can break through, then it will drop at the 5-minute time frame. It'll fall back down to here. So it's possible that when it drops back down here, this change of character zone is actually the official 15-minute zone. It's basically similar to a support zone. But if it gets rejected, and when the price drops back down here, there's a chance it will reverse and head back to the 21.2 price zone, okay? But if in this zone it can't hold, if it fails, then it's likely to fall back to 2,640. See, it's already calculated this for us here. But right now, the price is still right at the entry point, meaning this has just started, and it hasn't formed a clear trend yet. It's just at the beginning of the bear trend on the 15-minute chart, but it hasn't fully developed into a bear trend yet, you get it? So we have to wait for it to form. Here, we already have a first support level, so it's likely that it will drop down to here. For example, the price trend will probably fall to this point. Then there's a chance it will create a second support. If it forms a second support, then there's a high chance it will return to this price zone. Okay? But if on Friday and Monday, this price zone can't hold, then we'll be facing a downtrend for next week. We'll be facing a very likely downtrend for next week. That means it's likely to move like this. It will come back here again. Okay. So in the indicator section, we've already seen very clearly from the 2-minute time frame to the 5-minute time frame, right? We've clearly seen its movement trend, and when we open the 10-minute and 15-minute time frames, we can also see its trend. Okay, so here, if it can hold the price, it will return to this price zone. Because we have a order block here, so this part is for us to understand the price area, so that when the price returns to the order block, we already know, and we can use this to manage risk to know whether the trend will be rejected or continue. So the indicator part, or the indicator, helps us determine what the next trend will look like and whether it will be rejected if it fails to break through. And if it does break through, what will the next price look like? So this is the section that breaks it down based on the parameters to calculate the price, the value, okay? So when you use this part, it's very important. It's not just about seeing a sell or buy signal and jumping in without paying attention to this section. This section is really important. So even when you see a sell signal and want to short, you still have to make sure whether this short is a bull trap or a bear trap. Or is it actually following the trend that's being shown? Or is it just a signal that when you make an entry, it immediately reverses on you? For example, you just enter a buy position, and then suddenly you get caught in a bear trap and the price shoots up. When it shoots up like this, you think it's going to keep rising. So you buy at the top, but then you get caught in a bull trap. And after that, it drops back down. In these situations, it's very easy to fall into bull traps and bear traps like this. For example, it's moving like this on the 2-minute chart. Then you switch to the 5-minute chart, and from 5 minutes to 10 or 15 minutes, right? Then after that, it starts to form and suddenly drops in the opposite direction like that. This is what's called the formation of a bull trap and bear trap. So in this phase, it's very dangerous. That's why when using this indicator, there's a very important part in this indicator section. This part is there to support us, to let us know whether that trend, that wave, is being rejected or not, and how it is displayed, how it continues to unfold. So this section is the important part. When we see the price action moving here, it means sideways consolidation. When we see the price action moving above, that means at this point we can get ready to enter a trade. But before we enter, we need to make sure that the structure is clearly displayed. Then we can start to make an entry to short, right? But if it comes back, say, for example, you accidentally make an entry here and it comes back to retest, it backtests right at this point and doesn't get rejected, then it will drop straight down. But if it gets rejected, it will bounce back even stronger. So when you trade, you need to pay attention to these things. So this indicator section, this signal section, is the most important part when we use it. That's why you can't just rely on it. You can't depend solely on the sell and buy signals. You have to pay attention, because you need to pay attention to every single detail, okay? Yeah, that's the part where I said we need to use the management aspect of ROA. After that, we need to apply the AO and RSI sections. These three indicators are very important. Because these three indicators are similar to each other, they have some common points. So when we look here, we know where our price action is. For example, if we're here, that means we're in the 50 zone, and in this section, it shows us the zone. The zone is the 50 zone, and you can see clearly the 50 zone means that if it's below here, then it's bearish. But if it's above here, then it's bullish. So here, if the momentum to sell is here, if it drops to here, then if the RSI touches this area, this is the strong sell zone, so the trend is likely to continue easily. So that's why, this is the reason why sometimes when you trade using just the RSI, you only look at when the RSI hits 30 or 70, but you don't fully understand why it's at that level. And sometimes when you look at the 15-minute time frame and see it down here, you don't know what you should do next, right? So, for example, when you see it down here, sometimes everyone just thinks, oh, this is already support, or they think it's already the bottom and start buying in. But sometimes it's not actually the bottom yet. You see, the RSI might not actually be at support yet. It could still form another support level. That's why many people say they don't know when the market will actually hit a support zone. It's like a bottomless pit. You keep buying in and it just keeps dropping. Buy in and it keeps dropping. That's the reason why so many people get caught up in these concepts. And the way to address these concepts is to combine three factors: RSI, AO, and risk management. In our ALGTP, we've already set all of this up. So when you trade, this part is taken care of. Your mindset will be more at ease, and the indicator will display the order block section. See, so we already know where the price will drop. Okay, this is price level 1, and this is price level 2. In a situation where the market drops, we already know, okay, price 1, price 12, already know where the price is likely to fall to. There's a chance we buy here, right? We buy a little, we're afraid it might bounce back here, so we buy a little at this point. But if after we buy, it drops further, then maybe we buy a little more here. That's why we need to understand that when we see this, we might be able to avoid this spot. When I start wanting to buy in at this 20 level, I know how the market trend will play out when I apply this indicator. And you can see, just like in the case where the price dropped yesterday and then got rejected right at the order block, see? It got rejected right at the order block, which is the resistance zone, the highest price area. And then it started to drop. See, it dropped. Then it continued to drop gradually. So the likely support zone is at 25,300. That's it. So I'm showing everyone how to use this indicator so that we know how to trade, okay? When you use it, in the indicator section, there are a lot of concepts and strategies. So it really depends on how you prefer to use them. As for me, personally, I really like to use this InfinityEdge indicator, mainly because I genuinely like this particular indicator for a very specific reason. It's actually because I just don't want to see too many signals cluttering up my chart at the same time. I want it to look clean so that when I look at it, I immediately know what's going on. That's why I designed this. It's designed for my own personal use. So if you like this concept, just go ahead and use it. Okay. But there are also many of you who like to see signals so you can look at how they appeared in the past to make predictions, right? Well, yeah, everything is available here. It's up to you. But this part is something I created for myself personally. So I don't want to see too many details. I just wanted to display right at the present moment and avoid showing the past. If you want to check, you can look at the open points to know where the price is, since those open points are the markers used to select the sell and buy areas. So you can use this part. Okay, so this is the section where I share with everyone how to properly use this indicator. All right, I'll end this video here and see you all in the next video.